Oh my gosh, sorry, technical difficulties. So, there's a lot going on. There's an active shooter in Kentucky, or there was. We now have a person of interest, and I'm going to go over that. There's also news on Colt and Gray, and who knows what else I might talk about in this stream. So let's pop a clutch, grab a gear, squall tires, and haul ass to our seats and get this show on the road.
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
All right. So I have pulled up an article about what is going on right now. I think it said it was posted probably about 55 minutes ago. We're going to look at that real quick and see what the news had to say. This was updated. It says it was published at 6:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it was updated 26 minutes ago. In London, Kentucky, the update says officials with the Laurel County Sheriff's Office are looking for a person of interest in the shooting that happened on Saturday on I-75 at exit 49 and KY 909. So let's see what this news clip has to say. I can't hear that. Okay, I can skip it now. Let's see. I don't understand why I can't hear that. I don't know if y'all can't. Well, there's nobody in here, but Okay. We'll read the article. I read the first part. Officials say Joseph A. Couch, 32, is a person of interest. He is described as a white 5'10" and weighing he is described as white, 5'10", and weighing approximately 154 pounds. Couch is considered armed and dangerous. Officials are urging not to approach him. If you have any information, contact the London Laurel County 911 Center by calling 911 or 606-878-7000. And there's a picture of the suspect from Laurel County Sheriff's Office 51 minutes ago. It says he's considered armed and dangerous. Below individual or above, Joseph A. Couch is a person of interest in the shooting that occurred at the exit 49 and KY 909 area. If you have any information regarding the whereabouts or location on this individual, please contact the London Laurel County 911 Center by calling 911 or 606-878-7000. Do not attempt to approach. And it says there's an update. Laurel County Sheriff's Office's Gilbert Accardio has confirmed with WYMT that there are multiple severe injuries, but no confirmed deaths as of 8:08 p.m. The shooter has still not been caught, and residents are urged to stay inside. The original story said the City of London Mayor Randall Weddle has confirmed with WYMT that an active shooting is in progress in London. Trooper Scotty Pennington of Kentucky State Police Post 11 has confirmed the suspect has still not been caught. Shots were fired on I-75 near exit 49. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office has confirmed multiple people have been shot. Kentucky Transport Cabinet District 11 media contact Les Dixon said I-75 along with KY 909 and US 25 in Laurel County are currently shut down. I-75 is closed from exit 41 to exit 59. We will update as more information becomes available. And they're saying to please avoid I-75 around exit 49 until further notice. Use alternative route. Do not be anywhere in that area. Avoid US Highway 25 as well as north and south between London and Livingston. Let's see if we can see what this says. This is from Facebook. Okay, I don't have an account, so let's see if I can just create one real quick. I guess we'll have to look at that later. I'll have to create a Facebook for this channel and have that on there. So let's continue reading. Okay, it says I-75 is closed at mile marker exit 49 and US 25, 9 miles north of London due to an active shooter situation. Numerous persons have been shot near I-75. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says, Kentucky, we are aware of a shooting on I-75 in Laurel County. Law enforcement has shut the interstate down in both directions at exit 49. Please avoid the area. We will provide more details once they are available. And we just keep hearing about how there's an active shooter situation. So I am going to look up and see what information I can find on this Joseph A. Couch that is 32. I am going to pull up what the news is saying on YouTube about this situation, hopefully as recent as possible. Let me get this shared for you. Hold on. I had one pulled up earlier. Okay, I'll just open another one, or the one that I had open. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this is a new video. It says Kentucky police head towards reported active shooter situation on I-75 highway. This was 27 minutes ago, and it's a 42-second video. So let's see.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for...
Okay, I'm glad you did that. I'm sorry, I'm not interested right now, but I appreciate your information on that. Let me unmute, start over. So are you playing that over? Oh, it's showing how many are coming. Okay, because those are different, I guess. So that's going to be people that were stuck in traffic showing the police heading that way. All right, let's see. Let's see what Agenda Free TV has to say.
Search the immediate area here. No shots. Didn't see anybody. 498. Went there just for a little bit. 45.
I don't want to stream snipe. So let's see what this one has to say from 1 hour ago.
We are tracking some breaking news coming into our newsroom right now. An active shooting being confirmed in London, Kentucky. That is in the southern part of the state, about an hour and a half south of Lexington. Now, multiple police departments in the area responding to the incident. These are just some of the images we're starting to get into our newsroom now. Reports saying numerous people have been shot, noting that the shooter has not been apprehended at this time. Lexington Police Department telling our local affiliate on the ground there that a police helicopter is on standby. Ambulances will be coming through soon, they say. Officials have shut down the interstate in the meantime in both directions on I-75. And you can see on the map the situation really focused around I-75. Around Livingston and London, Kentucky. The mayor sending out a notice on Facebook, alerting all locals to avoid that highway. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear also tweeting he is aware of the shooting. We do have a reporter headed to learn more at that scene. We will keep you posted as soon as we get more information.
I'm trying to...
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
All right, give me just a second and I'll pull up another article. I am right now trying to pull his record. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's see what else we can find. All right, let's see what Fox Now has to say.
We are now learning about another shooting in Kentucky. Still a lot that's unknown about what exactly is going on. But Laurel County Sheriff is saying that the below person, Joseph A. Couch, is a person of interest in the shooting that occurred at the exit 49 in the Kentucky 909 area. If you have any information regarding the whereabouts or the location, we are going to also play out, I believe we have this post as well. We do, from the Laurel County Sheriff's Office. So they're, of course, trying to put this person's image out there because they're searching for him. He is a person of interest in this case. We know very little about this developing situation out of Kentucky, but what little we do know is this. Numerous people have been shot in an active shooter situation on Interstate 75 near exit 49 just north of London, Kentucky. It's according to the Laurel County Sheriff's Office on Saturday evening. The Sheriff's Office said the highway was closed near the exit, which is 9 miles north of London. Police had responded to reports that a suspect was shooting at drivers from an overpass or a wooded area, according to multiple media accounts. Police are still searching for the suspect, according to Reuters. Brian Yennis sharing this post from the Laurel County Sheriff's Office that the below person is a person of interest in this shooting situation. That is Joseph A. Couch. That's a photo of him. Right now, we don't know too much about the situation. Governor Andy Beshear has told people to avoid the area. Beshear saying on X that he's aware of the shooting on I-75 and that law enforcement have shut the interstate down in both directions at exit 49. Avoid the area. We will provide more details once they are available. But again, not too many details coming into the newsroom as of yet. We're still waiting to learn more. We do know that the mayor of London, Kentucky has also said on Facebook to avoid the area. We're checking social media to see if the Laurel County Sheriff's Office perhaps put out any other information. But as of last check, this is the last thing that we've seen from them, which is the picture of this suspect. That is one Joseph A. Couch. He's a person of interest in the shooting that occurred at the exit 49 in Kentucky. So we'll keep you posted on the situation. Again, fluid situation. We are learning more, and there's not a lot to know during these breaking moments. Sometimes we just work with very preliminary details for hours. It can be, depending on the jurisdiction. Different law enforcement jurisdictions work at different speeds, and especially on a weekend, information sometimes can come slower. So we'll bring you updates as soon as we have them. But for now, Laurel County Sheriff is looking for Joseph A. Couch. He is a person of interest related to this shooting in Kentucky. All we know for now is that multiple people have been shot near I-75. We don't have any specifics about casualties. We don't have any more specifics other than Joseph A. Couch is a person of interest, and that's his picture. Time to take a break. Back in 2 minutes.
Okay, I tried to pull what I could, but I can't. Without his date of birth, I can't pull any information, and all I know is that he's 32. So hopefully there will be more information out about this person and what all's going on. There are other live streams going on right now, as you saw earlier, if anybody wants to go look at that. I'm going to move on to Colt Gray. There's a lot that has been released about him. The arraignment with him and his father is out, and a lot about his home life. So let's check Fox 5 Atlanta from one day ago to hear about Colt Gray's.
Are you looking to establish your business?
And I'll give my thoughts, theories, and opinions on that as well.
After the Fox 5 I-team poured through public records today, the arrest of Colin Gray comes after the Fox 5 I-team poured through public records today, trying to learn more about this father and his son.
Late today, the I-team obtained a recording of a sheriff's office interview of both Grays, recorded after the FBI received a tip last year about a threat to shoot up a school.
Do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
Are they accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are.
Sorry that I was muted. So what you're hearing right now is his father talking to the police about a threat he made on a gaming, online gaming thing that he was playing, where he threatened to shoot up the school at an undisclosed location and an undisclosed time, something to that effect. Don't quote me. Last year. And we find out that even though that threat had been made and he stated he didn't do it, he received a pew pew for Christmas, and it was the one that he used to do what he did at the school. Now, I did state on an earlier live stream that I think people should be, taken out hunting. I think they should be made to maybe hunt so they understand that once you pull that trigger, you're taking a life. It's not a video game. But this case, that kind of aged like milk, because they talk about having just taken him out and he shot his first deer recently. I think there is a lot more going on here. I personally think that he was not getting he needed more attention, possibly more love and more affection, and he wasn't getting enough of it. And that made him want to do something to be remembered, to be infamous. And for whatever reason, he thought this was the way to do it. I was talking to my fiance about this earlier, and I remember being 14 and people picking on me at school, and I find out a boy I like didn't like me, and it's the end of my world. And I just want to, I am so sad and so depressed that I just want to lay in bed and cry for like 4 days over just the silliest thing, having no idea that I've got my whole life ahead of me and that none of that is going to matter down the road. I don't know if you can remember back to being a teenager, but when you're a teenager, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like that day, how you feel day to day to day is the end all be all. And it's really sad because this child, and he is a child, is never going to experience life.
Are down. We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shows
School.
I'm going to rewind it. Start it over.
Do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
Are they accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are down.
Okay.
We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year. Like, I don't know. I don't know anything about him saying like that, and I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him. I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how to do it all, and get him interested in the outdoors.
Now, that's just a portion of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office interview.
Fox 5 I-Team reporter Johnny Edwards.
I mean, it sounds like this father was trying to kind of do the right thing, in my opinion.
Says it's part of an emerging picture of a troubled family and some missed warning signs.
From what we're learning, Colt Gray's home life was fraught with problems. Police reports and court records concerning his parents, Colin and Marcy Gray, reveal a broken family. Colt living with his father, his two younger siblings living with their mother. Marcy Gray was arrested late last year for scratching her husband's truck. Then when they arrested her, police say they found her with methamphetamines, fentanyl, and a glass pipe. She was sentenced to 46 days in jail.
Substance abuse, and you hear about, I don't know if it's a Facebook post or where, I haven't been able to find it. As you can see, I haven't even made a Facebook for this channel yet, but somewhere it's being said that one of the neighbors said that his mother would lock him and his little sister out of the house for hours in the cold, in the rain, and they would just be beating on the door, crying to go in. I'm sorry, but if I see my neighbors, the girl up the street, the woman at the end of the road, the man in town's youngest standing outside beating on the door crying, and I know they've been out there for hours, I'm going to stop by and I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to say, hey, are you okay? Do you want something to eat? Can I go to the store and bring you back a snack or something? Is there a drink? Do you want me to help you knock on the door? Does she have a phone number that I could call or something? Now, don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, my babysitter said, go outside and play. And we went outside and play, and the door was shut. And we were outside for the day. We drank water out of a water hose, but we could go in and use the bathroom. If we knocked on the door and wanted a snack, a popsicle, or whatever, we could get that. We went in to eat breakfast. Well, we were usually in at breakfast, but we went in and ate lunch. you could go in and out, but for the most part, you went in to use the bathroom or grab something to eat or eat like a lunch, and then you went right back outside. And you won't gonna be running in and out just to get a cup of water all day. You's gonna drink from the water hose. That's just how I grew up. But that's different than beating on the door for hours, crying in the cold and in the rain, not being allowed in the house. That's not the same thing at all. And I wish the neighbor maybe, and I'm not saying the neighbor didn't, but it'd be nice to know that that person went out there and actually talked to him and tried to do something, offer him a snack, offer him a drink, offer to call the mom, offer to help him knock on the door, something. That really bothered me when I heard that.
Also last year, Colt Gray and his father received a visit from Jackson County Sheriff's investigators. They were looking into an FBI tip. Apparently, someone on a gaming app had threatened to shoot up a middle school. They believed Colt may have been involved. According to incident reports, the then 13-year-old told investigators he didn't make those threats. Here's a sheriff's investigator talking to Colt Gray.
I promise I will never say something like that.
So you haven't used Discord in a few months?
Oh, no.
And you're saying you didn't say anything like that?
No, the only thing I have is TikTok, but I just go around there and watch videos.
Colt's father told police he did have guns in the house. He said they were accessible but not loaded. He said he and his son would go hunting and shooting together. He said he wanted his son away from video games and into the outdoors. Colt even shot his first deer that year. Colin Gray also told police his son had problems at school, including being picked on.
I've been at school, like, I'm on first name.
I said in the beginning that I think this boy was picked on, and I think that might have had something to do with it. I just wanted to back it up so we could hear everything his father had to say. The fact that the father was taking him out, trying to get him away from video games, taking him to the outdoors, and teaching him about guns, gun safety, gun violence, having him shoot an animal so you understand what it's like when you pull that trigger, that you're taking a life that will never be there again, that you cannot give back. I mean, it sounds to me like he was doing all the right things, in my opinion. And I hate what's going on with these children at these schools today. It's really sad. It's really devastating that a child that's picked on now feels like they need to go and pick up a gun and do things like this. I wish, I mean, I could say it's because of the video games and how it makes it hard to differentiate reality from fiction, and but it's a state of mind. What is different now than back then? Like, it's now it's like that state of mind is, I mean, I don't know what the statistics are. Let me just give, a theory. Now it's like the statistics of children who are so sad and so depressed and could even think those kind of thoughts or to do something like that, like the ratio would probably be at about maybe 30 to 40%. Whereas when I was in school and, the early 2000s, it was like maybe a 3%. Like, what is going on to make this many children feel like this is what needs to happen and what they need to do and how they need to be remembered? I don't understand. I understand feeling so low that you think that nothing's going to make it better, and then, doing stupid things. Everybody done stupid things when they were teenagers, but not to this extent. Like, what the hell is going on?
I've been up to school, like, I'm on first name. I just was up there 3 days ago for his finals, talking to the principal, like, look, we talk about it quite a bit. All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah,
scary. Are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school, and is everything okay? That's why I keep going up there.
After that talk, police left. They weren't able to substantiate the tip. Here's where a breakdown may have occurred. The Jackson County Sheriff tells us she believes her department alerted Jackson County schools, telling them keep monitoring Colt Gray. In an email obtained by the I-Team, a sheriff's captain tells the FBI, we have made area schools aware and will monitor this subject. But by that point, Colt Gray had already finished 8th grade at Jefferson Middle School. By 9th grade, he and his father had moved to a different county, and that's where he started at Appalachia High School in Barrow. This is what we're still trying to figure out, if that alert from Jackson County carried over to the new school districts, and what would monitoring even mean? We don't know. Johnny Edwards, Fox 5 News.
I think this might be important to hear too. A statement
Getting
from
all your daily nutrients is
of one of the victims. I think it's important to hear from the victim's family side too, because I mean, I couldn't even imagine what they're going through. All you're doing is sending your child to school, which is mandated by the government. You have to send your child to school or homeschool them if you're able to. That's what we do, but not everybody's able to do that. And you have to send your child to a school and wonder and stress, is my child going to get shot today? There was a POD song that come out when I was younger, talking about, all the things that happen at school. It was called, it was, We Are the Youth of the Nation. So it was talked about when I was younger, but it wasn't this prevalent. I don't know. It's scary, but I think it's important to hear what a sibling of one of the victims has to say. And I think we need to keep these families in our prayers.
Learning more about the life of one of the victims of the Appalachia High School shooting, 14-year-old Mason Skirmerhorn was one of the 2 students killed. Fox 5's Brittany Edney spoke exclusively with his sister, and Brittany joins us now to share family pictures and details about this young man.
Yeah, that's right, Christine. His sister shared with us a lot of home pictures and videos, everything from things that they like to do with each other to family vacations. She says that she has been going through an unexplainable amount of grief, but still she wants the world to know a little bit more about her baby brother.
Oh,
happy birthday to you. In his short life, 14-year-old Mason Skirmerhorn loved all things fun and games.
PS5 VR headset. He likes playing Roblox and Genshin.
His sister Alana remembers the happy times they shared together. But Mason was taken from her in a senseless act of violence at Appalachia High School.
Live your life for him.
Surrounded by friends, she wants the world to know about her little brother. That infectious smile and laughter.
That he loved everyone. Like, no matter what they had, what disabilities, he loved everyone for them.
And his love of all things playful.
What?
Tragically, this sister has lost a younger sibling with big brother energy.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be different.
You are genuinely so strong.
In this small town, there are no shortage of hugs or support after the unthinkable.
It says that we're in it together. And it means a lot because it means everyone's looking out for each other.
There has also been a GoFundMe account that's been set up to help this family during all of this, troubling times that they're going to experience not only now, but in the future as well. You can find that on our website. All you need to do is go to fox5atlanta.com and you'll be able to find the link and, learn.
So, yeah,
The
there's a
arrest of
GoFundMe.
Colin Gray comes after the Fox 5 I-Team poured through.
There is a GoFundMe set up for that family on the Fox 5 News website. If you have the ability and the funds, and you can do something and donate to that family, I think that would be going to a great cause. The other part I wanted to show was their preliminary hearing. I think that's what it's called. All right, let's see if we can find that real quick. I want to try to find the so this one looks like it's 30 minutes. Yeah, it's the preliminary hearing. So I wanted to try to find the one that had both of them in it. Let me go ahead and mute this before we get hit with that ad. Okay. Okay, are we just seeing this? Okay. No, thank you. I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. Okay, so this one is an hour. It didn't take that long, but let's skip it to where we need it.
Initially, the readings were typical for a generator. Carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and other pollutants were present, while oxygen levels were relatively low. But then something extraordinary.
On this one, we'll get to see them walk in. Okay. I don't see them yet, so we just stood for the tour.
All rise. Superior Court of Bexar County is now in session.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Please be seated. And good morning, everyone. My name is Curry Mingledorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's proceedings.
I apologize for it doing that. I have full signal. I don't know why StreamYard does that.
We're here for limited purpose this morning. I do want to note for everyone's benefit that there is, as everyone certainly is aware, considerable interest in what has occurred in our community in the last several days.
So I haven't heard this part yet. I saw where they were both brought in and sentenced, but I haven't heard this yet. So I guess we'll watch this, and then I'm gonna try to check simultaneously while we're listening and looking at this and see about anything new that they put out about what's going on in Kentucky right now.
For that reason, the court has seen fit under Rule 22 of the Uniform Superior Court rules to allow media outlets to record some of these proceedings. However, under those rules, the court has set in place certain limitations, and I just want everyone to know that the media has been informed of that, and I'm confident that they will comply with that. But otherwise, there is to be no filming or recording by any.
Okay, I'm going to pause this for just a second, and I'm going to share this real quick. So this is from CNN. It says, manhunt underway after 5 people were injured in Kentucky shooting near Interstate 75, officials say. This was just updated at 10:04 Eastern Standard Time. I am on the East Coast, and it's 10:15 here. So about 9 minutes ago, or 11 minutes ago, excuse me. So let's see what they have to say. So it says a manhunt is underway for a suspect after 5 people were injured in a shooting Saturday near an interstate in a rural area of Laurel, Kentucky, located south of Lexington, according to the sheriff's office. All 5 victims are in stable condition, and authorities are searching for one shooter. Laurel County Sheriff's Office Public Affairs Deputy Gilbert Accardo told CNN the active shooter situation occurred near Interstate 75, about 9 miles north of the city of London, where numerous persons have been shot, said the Laurel County Sheriff's Office. The London Police Department has identified 32-year-old Joseph A. Couch as a person of interest who is considered armed and dangerous. He is described as a white man, roughly 5 foot 10 inches, weighing about 154 pounds, the police said. London, Kentucky is located around 80 miles south of Lexington. The police department is urging people to contact their 911 call center with any information regarding the whereabouts or location on this individual. Kentucky State Police Trooper Scotty Pennington said via social media the suspect has not been caught at this time. We are urging people to stay inside. Law enforcement will provide as much information as it becomes available, he added. The interstate was reopened on Saturday evening after it was closed for roughly 3 hours from exit 41 to exit 59, both northbound and southbound lanes, due to the active shooting, according to the Mount Vernon Fire Department. The Bureau of the ATF in Louisville said in a statement its officers were responding and assisting the Kentucky State Police and local authorities with a critical incident near Interstate 75.
But he also knew that revolutionary technologies like this often face significant resistance, whether from established industries, regulatory bodies, or even
London Mayor Randall Whitty said authorities were searching for the suspect or suspects in rugged terrain and a lot of tree lines, which may hamper their efforts, according to his video posted to Facebook around 8 p.m. local time. Whitty urged everyone within the city limits to be vigilant and aware of their surroundings. If you're home, keep your doors locked. I'm not asking everybody to panic. There is no immediate danger here in the city, but again, while these guys or this person is on the loose, we are asking everybody to stay safe, he said. The spasm of gun violence erupted just days after a mass shooting left 4 people dead and 9 others hospitalized at a high school in Winder, Georgia. And less than a week after a dozen people driving on an interstate in Seattle area were injured by a spree shooter. I didn't even know about that one. Okay, Governor Andy Beshear said on X, Kentucky, we are aware of a shooting on I-75 in Laurel County. Law enforcement has shut the interstate down in both directions at exit 49. Please avoid the area. We will provide more details once they are available. Together, we are actively monitoring the situation and offer support in any way possible. Please pray for everyone involved, he said in another statement. Excuse me. One woman who was driving on Interstate 75 with a friend from Rochester, New York, to Knoxville, Tennessee, gave harrowing details about the shooting in an interview with CNN when they reached London. Christina Donito said she and her friend heard a, quote, loud noise. We were just driving along, and all of a sudden, it was like a rock went through my back window, and it hurt my ear, Donito said. And we looked at each other, and we were like, was that a gunshot? And then we were like, no, that wasn't a gunshot. Donito says she noticed a truck driving next to her car, slowed down, and pulled off to the shoulder of the interstate. She initially thought that they had a tire blowout. She said they saw several police cars drive by at a high speed and so many tires on the side of the interstate. It wasn't until roughly an hour and a half later, Donito and her friend learned about the shooting. When they arrived at a friend's house, they noticed what appeared to be paint scrapes on the back of her car. My hands are still shaking, said Donito, who added she feels incredibly lucky. So that's interesting. All right. So let's go back to the sentencing.
Members of the public or any other individual other than those authorized specifically by the court in its signed ruling. Are we ready, counsel, to begin and bring the defendant in?
Carlson wasn't fully aware of this agreement.
All right, let me close out of this and try to get it to load. Like I said, I've got full internet service.
And
State's ready, Your Honor.
all right.
Defense.
I'm going to pause that for just a second so we can try to get unglitchy footage of them walking in. I think first it's Colt. Yeah, first it's Colt is going to be walking in.
Is ready.
All right.
Not showing him. They moved the camera away or they didn't show him.
All right. Good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Colt Gray? My name's Curry Mingledorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's proceedings. Mr. Gray, I do need to inquire as to whether you're able to read and write the English language. Which all right. I also want to inform you, well, I want to ask you, do you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney in these proceedings? And you are in fact represented today, is that correct? And Mr. Zane Harmon, you're here on behalf of this defendant, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you understand that you have the right to be continuously represented throughout this proceeding, and if you cannot afford to hire counsel, then this court is obligated under the Constitution to provide counsel for you without cost to you. All right, I am going to inform you of a few other matters, and I'm not going to ask you anything, just inform you. So one is, I want to make sure that you are aware that you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything at all. And it's important to understand that because anything you might say could be used against you at.
I heard the way, because I watched just the sentencing, or not the sentencing, Lord have mercy, the preliminary hearing, and the way that he speaks to Colt, I mean, you can tell that he's trying to do it and break it down so that a child could understand, he's trying to explain the situation and the rights that he has in a way that even a child can understand it, because he is indeed speaking to a child. The impact that has on just even the judge, I can't imagine. I could not imagine being the judge, residing over this trial and talking to this child and having to charge them as an adult, because at the end of the day, he is a 14-year-old kid. My son just turned 14, like literally a couple of days ago. I could not imagine. That's why this really hits home for me, because I could not imagine. Oh my God. I just,
Further proceedings associated with your case. I want to inform you of the charges that you currently face. In essence, you are charged with 4 counts of felony murder, as outlined in the state warrants that have been issued against you. I want to make you aware that the maximum penalty for felony murder, so for each count, the maximum penalty is that you could be punishable by death, by imprisonment for life without parole, or by imprisonment for life, with the possibility of parole. If you have any questions about these charges, then I would urge you to discuss those with your attorney. I would invite you, Mr. Harmon, to inform the court as to whether there's a request for bond at this time.
At this time, Your Honor, there is not a request for a bond. We will file the appropriate motions if that becomes necessary.
All right. An indictment by the grand jury for most felony offenses or accusations.
I'm gonna watch this. We'll watch him and the father be their preliminary hearings. But then I'm gonna have to call it a night because I got a lot going on here at the house. It's been a really busy day, and I'm gonna have to get everything set up to get in the bed. I've got some things to do early in the morning, so I actually might even try to speed this up a little bit if it'll load. And we'll watch this, and I'll check again and keep an eye out for things on the Kentucky situation, and we'll go from there.
Well, you have the right to receive an indictment for these offenses. And I assume Mr. Brad Smith is here on behalf of the DA's office, or he is our district attorney. So, and he's accompanied by Ms. Patricia Brooks, who is his chief assistant. A preliminary hearing, you'll have the right also to a preliminary hearing, unless you make a bond, which of course at this point there's no bond being requested, or unless you waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. As you sit here in this courtroom today, under law, you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point in any proceeding will not be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty.
That the part he said earlier about you can by a judge or a jury, I thought it was a judge and a jury. I was going to say that. I was listening because the part I heard, I guess they had cut some of the things that he said out, like that he has the ability to represent himself, he's presumed innocent, and then it picked back up with the if he doesn't speak in his defense, it's not going to be used against him. You know, I know all of the things that they say. It's pretty generic. They say the same thing to everybody, but like I said, he breaks it down a little bit more for Colt, sorry. Because he is a child, and it's just devastating to even just think what that judge is going through and what he's thinking about and what's going on in his mind. It's devastating.
Counsel, let me just inquire as to whether there are any other items that the court should address before we conclude this preliminary hearing.
No, Your Honor.
Well, I do have one piece of information to convey to the court. There was a development yesterday afternoon that makes it necessary for our office to have alternate counsel appointed, and arrangements have already been made in that regard. I've already explained that to Mr. Gray. Alternate counsel will be appointed by the end of the day today.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Donna C. Graves. All right. Then with that, this hearing is concluded, and you may escort.
I wondered what happened that made it to where they had to do alternate attorneys, unless because you know his father got charged after him. So is there like, okay, if she was an attorney for his father and his father had a court case or something, or she now has to represent his father, then she's going to have to step back from his case because she can't represent him and his father at the same time in the same court case, because technically they're co-defendants and might have to testify against each other. So you can only represent your client. You can't represent both of them. So I was wondering if that's what that had to do with, the fact that she steps back on this one, and I think Colin's too. I was wondering what the conflict of interest is, unless it has something to do with, like I said, the father being charged after Colt and some kind of representation issue going on there.
Work this defendant out.
Yep, baby.
All right. With that, I understand that we have another first appearance hearing And I think that we're going to have a little bit of a recess before we conduct that, unless everyone's ready to proceed with that. I think that I told the media outlet that I would recess briefly to allow them to kind of reconfigure what they're doing. And so we'll be in recess for a short time until I'm
trying to skip it until we can get to Poland. Okay, it looks like we're right here.
You are charged. Does not include.
Hi, everyone. Mark Barden here.
It's nice to meet you, Mark. Okay. Let's back it up. All right. Oh, that was a stack.
If we could bring the defendant, Mr. Colt Gray, back out for a moment, please. I just need to correct one thing on the record. All right, Mr. Gray, we visited a moment ago. I just need to correct a couple of things on the record. I correctly told you the maximum penalty for the crimes for which you are charged. That's correct, except for the fact that you are under 18 years old. So I wanted to inform you and make it clear to you that the penalty for the crimes for which you are charged does not include death. It includes life without the possibility of parole or life with the possibility of parole. I also wanted to inform you that the court has set December 4th at 8:30 a.m. For your preliminary hearing. And that is, of course, subject to change as you secure new counsel later today and so forth. Is there anything else that needs to be addressed that anyone can think of?
So I hadn't seen this part either, and they brought him in evidently because you can see like where it was like that. So evidently that's when they brought him back in. But I had not heard that the death penalty had been taken off the table because he was under 18, which makes sense. I don't think that they should be putting the death penalty on anyone that's under the age of 18, no matter what. So that makes me glad to hear that.
Hang on. All right. So with that, you may escort Mr. Colt Gray back out. Thank you. All right, I'm going to step out for a few minutes to allow our
Okay,
the media to reset, and then we'll come back in for Mr. Colin Gray's preliminary hearing.
Let's
Am I pronouncing your first name correctly? Mr. Gray, my name is Curry Mingledorf. I'm assigned presiding.
Okay. Evidently they block out them walking in or something. Okay, it picks up right here.
Gray, please. Good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Colin Gray? Am I pronouncing your first name correctly? Mr. Gray, my name is Curry Mingledorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's proceeding. This is your first appearance hearing. And at this hearing, I'm first going to ask you just a few questions, and then I'm going to advise you of your rights and also let you know about a preliminary hearing that's been scheduled for you.
So this is the first appearance, but I thought it was called the preliminary hearing. I was incorrect on that, and I apologize for that. This is just called the first appearance. It's usually a bond hearing, and it is a bond hearing because they do reference bond in this. But yeah, I don't see that happening.
Why don't you just state your name, please? All right, pull the microphone down, please. There you go. All right, and how old are you, Mr. Gray?
54.
And are you able to read and write and understand the English language without any difficulty?
Yeah.
How far did you go to school?
11th grade GED.
Okay. And I note that you have counsel seated with you at the table. Do you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney at all times for this and all future proceedings in your case?
Yes, sir.
If you hear that noise in my background, my rabbit is chewing on some cardboard right now. That is my My baby. So I'm going to let him chew. I'm sorry if it bothers anybody. If it gets too loud, I will stop it. But that's my baby right there. So I let him chew on his stuff.
Sir. And you understand that, of course, if you cannot afford an attorney, that a public defender will be appointed to represent you upon your request.
Yes, sir.
All right. And counsel, would you identify yourself, please, for the record?
Donna Seagraves. We are going to have new counsel assigned to Mr. Gray later today.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So I guess she's stepping back from both of them.
All right.
They might be representing one of the victims or the victim's family. Like if she was a judge for one of the victims or the victim's family and had them like on a different case before all this happened, and then this happened and now they're involved in this case, like the victim, you know, like let's say one of the victim's family members was using her in a court case for a speeding ticket, okay? And then this awful tragedy happens, and now she was appointed to represent Colt and Colin, but she finds out that the woman she's representing for a traffic ticket is going to be in court now because her child is deceased, and she has to go to court for that. The lawyer is going to go represent her because she already has her for the speeding ticket case. That is going to be a conflict of interest. She cannot represent like the victim and also represent the defendants. So I'm assuming something like that is what happened there.
Okay, sorry. Just to make sure that the system is working. And all right, so the following aren't questions that I'm going to ask. I'm just informing you of some things. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you at further hearings or at a trial on the charges that you're facing. For this hearing, you're not going to be questioned about facts and circumstances surrounding your charges. You are currently charged with, and you'll be provided with copies of the warrants if you don't already have them. You're currently charged with 2 counts of felony murder in the second degree. You're charged with 4 counts of felony involuntary manslaughter. You're charged with 8 counts of felony cruelty to children in the second degree. Now, for these offenses, for the felony murder counts.
Okay, I'm wondering what the 8 counts of cruelty to children in the second degree is, because I know that there's Colt and he has 2 younger siblings, so that's 3 children, not 4. So like I'm saying that because like if he got 2 charges per child, that would mean 8. So and I mean even okay, if you say the 3 children and the 2 suspects, that's 5. Where are the other 2 charges coming from? Because the other 2 people that were unfortunately taken in this tragedy were adults. There was 5 people under, well, 2 victims under the age of 18, and if you count his children, that adds 3 more, so that's 5 people under the age of 18 in this case, not 8. If there was 4 people under the age of 18 and he was getting 2 charges for each person, that would make 8. I want to know where this 8 charges of cruelty to children came from. I can't figure it out. If you have any ideas, please let me know in the comment section.
In the second degree, felony murder in the second degree, the maximum imprisonment, the maximum penalty for each count is up to 30 years imprisonment. For felony involuntary manslaughter, of course, again, there are 4 counts. The maximum penalty for each of those offenses is 10 years imprisonment. For the 8 felony cruelty to children counts, the maximum penalty under the law for each of those 8 counts is 10 years imprisonment. For a maximum total possible penalty for the charges that you currently are facing of 180 years imprisonment. If you have questions about these charges, which I assume that you will, the court urges you to discuss those with your attorney. Let me inquire as to whether there's a motion for bond if Mr. Gray is moving for bond at this time.
No, sir, not at this time. We will allow alternate counsel to make that decision.
All right, thank you. I also need to inform you that you have the right to an indictment by grand jury, and you also have the right to a preliminary hearing unless you make bond or waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. I want to make it clear to you, Mr. Gray, you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify.
He's rocking back and forth. I don't know if that's anxiety. I don't know if he is on substances like the mom and detoxing. I don't know. I'm sure this man is in a living hell right now, though. I know that.
To testify at any point cannot be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty. I mentioned the first appearance hearing a moment ago. That is being set for you for December 4th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Currently, that's set to take place in the Magistrate Court of Barrow County. It could be subject to change, but I just want you to know that that is the date that we currently have. In fact, counsel, could you approach, please? I have this, let's see, I can just scratch this out. This document that discusses bond and gives date of the preliminary hearing. I guess I could sign that, and you can just get a copy of it. And then the warrants are attached to that. So I would like for him to sign it. Please.
Sign right there, just so you get a copy of this. He is giving you a copy. He'll give you a copy of all the warrants. Do you want me to go ahead and give him his copy?
Yes, please.
And the page continues.
That runny nose concerns me as far as detox goes. I was thinking that earlier and how heavy he's breathing, but it could be just emotions because I know he's living a living hell right now. Like, it's not just the runny nose, it's the shaking and the heavy breathing and the nose running. All of those things coupled together are what make me think that it's not one thing in particular. There's lots of things that add up to equal my thought that maybe he's coming down off of a substance, or maybe he's just really anxious and stressed out, as anyone would be, living this terror that he's going through right now.
And are these his copies of the warrants?
Those are provided, and they say service copies on them, so I assume that they're for him. Okay. Sergeant Briscoe, do you concur with that? Is that what those copies are for? Those are for the detention center? So he's got his own copies, or he'll have them provided?
Like, was there anyone? I mean, I know that like he had writings in his journal or something where he's idolizing past shooters, but was there something different about that morning before he got up to go to school? Did the dad get up when he left to go to school? Like, other than going in his room and checking and looking in his personal notebooks that you try not to do as a parent, I don't know how he would know that his son was going to do that. If he genuinely thought that his son did not make that threat in the middle school, I mean, how was he supposed to know?
All right, so the detention center wants to hold on to those. All right, let me, and thank you, Ms. Gray. I want to certainly acknowledge the presence of our district attorney, Mr. Brad Smith. He's assisted by his chief assistant, Patricia Brooks. Is there anything else, counsel, that the court needs to address that I have neglected to address?
No, Your Honor. No, sir, not at this time.
All right. I do want to thank those who are in the gallery who have an interest and who have appeared. I appreciate the decorum that's been maintained throughout this proceeding, or both of these proceedings today. And with that, this matter is adjourned.
Yeah, tell me who's going to represent you. It's James Rogers. We're going to have to go official later today. He'll come and see you probably the first part of next year.
Okay.
All right, so that's the end of that. And all I've got on the Kentucky situation is a post from 42 minutes ago, but it says pretty much the same thing, or 29 minutes ago. So let me pull this up real quick and we'll look at it before I leave. So it's from the Guardian. And it just says that Kentucky authorities say multiple people injured in active shooter situation. The shooting occurred along Interstate 75 in a rural area south of Lexington near the city of London, authorities said. And then there's a picture from the scene, pretty much the same one we saw earlier. Only thing that I'm going to add to this is there are no deceased at this time. No one was killed from this, thankfully. But we do ask that you continue to pray, the mayor said. It says the incident. Oh, that might be something. The incident began just before 6 p.m. local time, about 9 miles outside of London, when officers were called for reports of multiple vehicles being fired at on the interstate in Laurel County. Multiple media accounts said the shots were reportedly coming from a wooded area or an overpass. What? State Trooper Scotty Pennington, the suspect has not been caught at this time, and they're telling people to stay inside. Please pray for everyone involved. Wow. So right here, the incident began just before 6 p.m. local time and was about 9 miles outside of London, when officers were called for reports of multiple vehicles being fired at on the interstate in Laurel County. Multiple media accounts said the shots were reportedly coming from a wooded area or an overpass. Wow. And again, the person of interest is Joseph A. Couch. He is 5'10" and approximately 154 pounds. All right, so that's going to be it for me tonight. I appreciate anybody who dropped by and said hello. And if you're watching this on a replay, I appreciate you stopping by and checking my videos out. If you would please give me a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe would help me out tremendously. Thank you so much. I hope your day tomorrow is the best day you've ever experienced in your whole entire life. And I hope everyone has a wonderful night's sleep. Good night.